everything is dimensions. All are dimensions. When I say consciousness, you can call it the operating mechanism. Operating mechanism means, understand this clearly. This is the fundamental. You have five senses, primarily five senses, right? What for? What is the use of senses? To experience, of course, to experience the materials of the world. And what is processing these experiences? Eyes can see, but if your mind is not there, eyes won't see anything, isn't it? You can look, but you won't see. You look, but you don't see when your mind is not available. Mind processes emotions, intellect processes informations, and ego processes some things related to personality, such as position, possession, respect, all those things. So these are the three processors that everybody has. All of you have mind, intellect, and ego as processors. Constantly you are processing in the waking state. So many things, so much of data is being processed. Some are emotions, some are informations, some are egocentric stuff, like your materials, your relations, your rank, the position in the society, all those things. This is being processed. And to understand them or to store them, there are koshas, sheath, physical sheath. Pranamaya kosha, annamaya kosha, pranamaya kosha, manomaya kosha. There are a lot of sheath, various layers, physical layer, emotional layer. They are all storage boxes. And then finally the root sits in the impression, the seed form sits in causal layer. Causal layer is what the soul takes when it leaves the body. It takes that and then it puts in another body. So then that's what we call about patterns. At the time of death, the soul leaves with your causal layer, and also sometimes the other layers, and it's reinstalled in another body for the sake of different experiences. Thus, we have taken hundreds of lives, hundreds and thousands of lives. We have taken many lives because our desires are not ending. We have more and more desires. Each desire is causing more, asking for more time. You need time, you need space, you need environment, you need awareness to experience. For you to experience something, of course, you need space, you need time, you need awareness, to experience. So senses are, the data collected from the senses are processed by mind matter. Mind matter is mind, intellect, and ego put together. And then consciousness works in three levels. What are the three levels? Waking state, dream state, deep sleep state. In waking state, you are collecting data from the world around you. That also, only what you can see, you can collect. When you're looking at one thing, there are so many things happening around you. Can you see them? You can't. So you are very limited, extremely limited. You are only processing something which you have witnessed right in front of you. You can't experience or process anything which you cannot touch. You can't see, you can't witness, you can't do anything. So we are very limited. Understand that clearly. Like, for example, you're sitting in Udupi now, but something is happening in Mookambika. But you have nothing to do with it. Why? You're not there. So that limited we are. We are limited to a small environment, and that's all we see. The dream state, the waking state, we are awake and we are collecting, or we are responding to the world outside. During dream state, what do? In dream state, you are still responding, but that response is to the world inside you. What is the world inside you? Collected data, what you have stored inside. What you have already collected and stored inside, that is the material that the dream state processes. It cannot process from outside because your senses have shut down to sleep. It's on sleep mode. So the conscious mind, the conscious intellect, conscious ego is not functional along with the outside. But internally, the data which is already stored is being processed. So dream state is an active state. You do have experiences in dream state. Dream state is an alive state. You do have experiences. So, dream state is something which is alive, which is active, and also it gives you experiences. Whatever states that gives you experiences is important for you because there is fulfillment. Experience is about fulfillment. If you have an why are you trying for experiences? Every moment is your life, right? What is happening every moment is the purpose of life. What is happening each moment is what you are born for. There is no one purpose in an imaginary way. It's not like life is as it happens every moment. So each moment is important, including dream state. So this is the second state. Then comes deep sleep state. Deep sleep state is what? Totally absent. Means the external organs or the organs which you use for external pursuits and the organs which you use for internal pursuits both shut down. Both shut down. Then you are what? What are you? Completely dead. Totally, it's like a death state of death, 3.5 hours or something. That's the exact time of mobile charging. You plug in and you get full charge, 100%. That is in 3 hours, 3.5 hours. So then you come back in the same body in the morning, and then you say, I am alive. Then you have a world outside. Even before, there is a world outside, but you can't use that world. The world is useless for you. But when you wake up and you start looking out, there is a world which you can use. So you start your day again. You bring forth all your attributes. You say, I am so and so. I am a male or female. I belong to these parents or this lineage, these gotras. All these things are when you are awake. Then you become a symbol of your family, your desires, whatever. All those things. So consciousness has 3 aspects. What are the 3 aspects? Waking state, dream state, deep sleep state. So you understood this phenomenon, senses, processors, consciousness. Now, there is a fourth possibility, which when you reach a state of enlightenment, you connect to. That means a state of witness of these 3 states. You're witnessing the waking state, means no attachment to your activities, detached existence. When you are detached to your waking state activities, continuously, consistently, because you can only do meditations when you are awake, correct? You can only do witnesshood when you are awake. But people do meditations in sleep because sometimes some people sleep. That's different. That is not always meditation. It depends on how much you snore. If you are definitely not snoring, you are in deep sleep. But otherwise, it's probably dream state. Some people shout. Sometimes when you enter a room, it's like entered a zoo. Like you go through various cages, see people snore in various levels, and then you come out and then oh my God, what a relief. This is all high levels of meditation. So anyway, when you are in a witness mode of your waking state, spontaneously, like a boat floating on water, you will also transcend transcend into the dream state. That means you are not falling into sleep. You are a witness to your sleep mode also. That there's no changing. Like for example, in the sleep state now, you don't know when you're sleeping, right? You lie down and suddenly you just go into sleep. Then you go into dream state. It's all uncontrolled. Here, you start witnessing your dream state also. That process happens automatically. Like you witness the waking state, you're always in the witness mode. And you're also witnessing the dream state. Then comes the deep sleep state. Deep sleep state also you witness. When you start witnessing these 3 states, you are in the Turiya state. 4th state. This is called the Turiya state. That witnesshood actually detaches you one more step from this physical to the internal to the processors and the minor and major processors to a level where you're witnessing everything. Then there is somebody sitting behind nurturing all this. all these states. Who's that? The God particle, the soul particle. You start connecting to the soul particle, which is the permanent thing in you, which is not bound by your body, which is not bound by your emotions, durations, experiences, nothing. It's not bound by anything. That's the soul particle. And then you start connecting to the soul particle, there you attain immortality. You reach higher levels of samadhi by connecting to the soul aspect of you, which is the real energy aspect of you. The others are all only dimensions of that energy. That's why I said all these things which you talk about are various dimensions of your own existence. They are real. They are all real. They are important. But at the same time, please remember, you are not one thing. You are everything. All of us, each person. And also remember, an ant whom you probably even ignore walking on here, a bee or a bird or an elephant, they are all same system, same kind of configuration. Difference is in most of the birds and animals operate purely on instinct basis. Survival instinct is the highest of instincts, even for humans. We have survival instinct and every being has instinct. So most of them only operate on instincts. But when it comes to human, we also operate on intelligence and imagination. We operate on intelligence and imagination more than instinct. So what do we do? Oh, instinct is very inferior. I am a very refined personality. So I only operate on imagination and intelligence. This is what we see in the world today. All the creations are, all what we have created, all the buildings, all the structure, all the infrastructure, everything is connected to intelligence and imagination. But man is still instinct-oriented. Survival, we see that happening. Mad competition, comparisons, isn't it? This is all instinct-oriented. If you are very intelligent, you will not compete. Nothing to compete. We are all same. We are all playing our roles in life. Nobody is higher, nobody is lower. The urge to prove that I am better than you is from the instinct. Survival of the fittest. It's instinct thing. So if you are able to see through all this, you can, when you look at a person, you know where they are operating from. It's very simple. Definitely uncomplicated. We are not complicated. We seem to be complicated. So nothing is complicated. We are all various dimensions. But if you understand, intellect and intelligence and imagination is our strength. That is why we even chose. We are relatively a weak frame, right? Weak personality or weak constitution. Like a cow or an animal can survive winter or various weathers without much problem. If you sit in the weathers outside, you will be a fossil soon. So we are not so strong to survive so many different climates and stuff. We are much more vulnerable than various species. So, but we have intelligence and imagination with which we are surviving. So what should be our way of operation then? Display that intelligence and imagination as highest compassion, highest kindness, highest inclusiveness. So we connect to every beings. All this is important. That is when you actually become a human being. Otherwise, we have a human form, but another weak expression of instinct.